Hi, everybody. My name is Derek T.A. I'm a developer advocate here at IBM. And today I have John Wallachy with us. Hey, John, how are you?
Hi, Derek. Nice to meet you. And hello, everyone.
So we're going to go through a couple things today here to give you some content around building apps with IoT and Node-RED. So as always, we're going to talk a little bit about Call for Code, which, as many of you probably know, Call for Code is an initiative where we want to do what we can to help recover from or mitigate, prevent natural disasters utilizing technology. And so this year, the challenge is open for submissions until July 29th. So if you have already started working on stuff, great. If you haven't, there's still plenty of time to get started on that. Again, July 29th is the deadline for that. Some other things that will help you along your path. We've been going through and building blog posts that talk about each of the content areas in Call for Code that'll kind of help you along your journey. So in that next tab, John, there's one example that I have on building Call for Code apps with IoT and Node-RED. So you can find that on the Call for Code blog on developer.ibm.com. I think we can drop a link in the live stream for you as well. But this is just one of a couple that we've written. So I've written one on IoT and Node-RED, written one on AI. I have one coming up next week on traffic and weather. There's a blockchain one out there. There should be one going out today, I believe, on machine learning. And then we're going to talk a little more about data science 2 weeks from now. So,
wow, you've been pretty busy, Derek.
Yeah, it's been a push to get this stuff out. You know, we want to get the best content we can out there for Call for Code. So lots of stuff there, lots of good information. Every one of these little blog post references our code patterns or tutorials. This one, John happens to have a highlight in here, which is we're going to go through some of that today as well. So you'll see that there's a lot of resources in there that you can get started with. If there's something that does come up that you have questions on or whatnot, you're welcome to tweet me if you'd like. You can find me on Twitter, Derek TA. Feel free to send me a message if you're noticing something's off, or if you notice that there's an issue or something, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help. So I want to talk about some of the main points on that blog post John had up there. So
Sure.
Just to highlight a couple things, there's a video there as well if you'd like to check that out. Again, yours truly, John's right there to kind of talk a little bit about some of the IoT things going on in that article. But one of the cool code patterns that I highlighted here was one on using Onion devices with Node-RED on the IBM cloud. So this was something that John wrote, and John, I want to give you just brief amount of time to kind of talk about this. If you had any useful things about the Onion Omega devices, and if there's anything you could share around that.
Sure. So I build IoT solutions with a whole variety of devices from lots of different partners that IBM works with to bring data from the device up to the IBM cloud for analytics. And so we've got great partnerships. And one of them is with the Onion team, and they produce a $5 Linux computer, which is one of my favorite things because anytime I can skip lunch and buy a $5 Linux computer, that's awesome. So what was fun about their device, it's basically a very small little chip there, and it's about the size of a postage stamp, and you can add an SD card or flash it right to, it runs Linux, and it's got sufficient horsepower to, actually it's a MIPS-based processor, so you can install a derivative of OpenWRT. And what's really cool about it, Derek, is you can run Node-RED on a device about that size. I added an OLED screen, so I can put little messages out there. It's got a USB port, so you can connect devices to it. And it's a full Linux computer, which is so awesome.
That's really cool, yeah.
And then, of course, you can hang sensors onto it as well, which is what the whole point of our story today is.
Right. So it's kind of like a Pi, but smaller, right? Raspberry Pi?
Yeah, smaller than a Raspberry Pi, for sure. And cheaper.
Yeah, which that's awesome to be able to get your hands on some tech like that and play around with it, and it's not too expensive. That's great. Thanks, John. And then also, you'll see, so on this page, there's a link for the IoT code patterns as well. So if you want to check that out, there's some more code patterns centered around IoT. So that should be helpful for anyone that wants to start or wants to do more with IoT and their call for code solutions. I'm going to go through one last set of resources here before I turn things over to John. We have our code and response page that you can see here, and under the resources link, there's our list of technologies there. And if you go under Internet of Things, there's again some even more code patterns, which you would also find from where we just highlighted in that article. But additionally to that is also some tutorials, some blogs, videos, depending whatever type of media you like and you want to use to learn best. So right under Internet of Things there, you can find even more resources to get started with this. I know some people like to watch videos, helps them learn things a little bit better. So there's videos on here as well. So plenty of stuff to learn, plenty of things that can be adapted towards call for code. So
Derek, you're going to be back to talk not just about IoT, but with others over the next couple of weeks to talk about AI and machine learning, data science, and blockchain. You have a schedule for that, I heard.
Yeah, so we'll be doing those over the next I think now 4 weeks. So we'll be working on that. I think the next one up, I think it's blockchain. So we'll have some people there for that. So stay tuned for that. Blockchain is always a really interesting topic, and we have some good people that are going to be helping us with that live stream. So
did I hear that you have Oliver Rodriguez on?
Yeah, we should have Oliver.
Awesome.
Yeah.
If you get a chance to join an all live stream, you're going to have a great time with Oliver. So encourage everyone to join next week with Oliver.
Oliver's definitely the blockchain guy to talk to. That's for sure.
I learned so much about the blockchain from him.
And actually, I highlighted him in my Call for Code blog post about it. You know, I happened to be working an event with him, and I said, you know, I could write a generic thing about Call for Code and or blockchain. But I said, Oliver, you know, give me a quote. Give me in your words, you know, what you see blockchain is. So I got a nice quote from him. So who better than him to have him on? So we should have him coming up here.
All right, let's talk about IoT.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, John. Take it.
All right. So I think you invited me to really talk today about a tutorial which I had penned last couple of months ago about how to create an IoT platform starter application in the IBM cloud. So if you're building a call for code solution that uses any type of IoT and you want to get data up to Watson IoT platform, maybe you want to create and use a Node-RED flow in the IBM cloud. You want to store that sensor data in a time series cloud and database in the IBM cloud. Maybe you want to store the data and then bring it over to Watson Studio to do some analytics in a Jupyter notebook and some Spark ML learning. But you need to start with a Internet of Things platform starter. And so what I did is I wrote a tutorial, which we're going to talk about today. And so the learning objectives will be to walk through the tutorial, show you how that's done. But then, because that's sort of just read and click, I thought we would then turn it over to actually take a real device. And in this case, I picked a Texas Instruments sensor tag. It's just a Bluetooth sensor tag, but it's got a bunch of cool sensors. I'll talk about that. And this Bluetooth device with a bunch of light, temperature, humidity, accelerometer, gyroscope, compass, sensors is going to talk to my phone. And I'll share my phone on the screen, and we'll see some data going from the sensor to the phone, and then up to IBM Cloud over Wi-Fi. And we're going to capture that data in Node-RED. Actually, we're going to first send it to Watson IoT Platform. We'll see it arrive there, both in Quick Start and as a registered device. So we'll walk through those steps. And then we're going to jump into Node-RED, and we're going to build some cool little Node-RED flows. Those of you, I'll introduce Node-RED if you're not yet familiar with it. We'll go through an introduction there. We're going to build some charts. And because once your data is arriving, you want to do some real-time alerts. And so I thought we would.
You want to see it visualized well instead of just seeing raw data.
Right. Yeah. So after a while, you don't really find the insights in just a raw stream of data. What you really want to do is graph the data in a set of charts. And so we'll live build that all. And I'll actually have prior examples, but they're in my head. I'm going to craft it all with you today, Derek.
Wonderful.
We'll see how that goes. If I get all my typos out of the way, we'll do great. We're going to spend about 2 hours, maybe less. But what we're going to do after that, I figured, okay, every IoT demo needs a blinky light. so, so it was insufficient just to send data to the IBM cloud and graph it in Node-RED and see some real-time sensing. I decided now, of course, I've got lots of blinky lights. And so there's a remote control light bulb. It's called a LifeX light bulb, but I usually have it plugged in my ceiling, but you can't see it. So I kind of plugged it in over here, and later on we'll pull that out. It's really bright, so I'll probably turn it to its side. And we're gonna, as we shake our sensor tag, if it hits some accelerometer extremes, we're going to, from the IBM cloud, detect that alert and send the command down through the Wi-Fi to this particular light bulb, and it's going to flash red and on and off.
That's really cool.
So, but let's tie it back to call for code, because imagine you had a bunch of sensors in your project, maybe your health and wellness, maybe you're trying to track an emergency vehicle, or maybe there's tornadoes coming, and you've tied your data stream to the weather company, and you're following the severe weather alerts for your zip code, and you want to inform the citizens. Well, maybe if you're deaf, you can't hear the tornado siren to head to your bunker. Maybe you want to have a flashing light. And so, that's pretty easy examples of a sensor, accelerometer, temperature, gyroscope, and blinky lights. So that's
really
what we're going to build.
Yeah. Great use case.
Should we jump in, Derek?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's do it, man. All right, so here we go. So we're going to, and I'll scroll and jump to tabs, and we'll do it kind of together. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create ourselves a Watson Internet of Things starter application. And of course, you want to get yourself an IBM Cloud account. So if you don't yet have one of those, you want to go to cloud.ibm.com/register. Those of you that already have an account, go to /login. And I've already logged in, but you want to jump over to the catalog. And we've got so many services in the catalog that you want to take advantage of. Some of them are microservices. Some of them are infrastructure. If you want to build your own security products, all of our Kubernetes and IBM Container Service, really cool there. You stand up and instantiate storage, Cloud Object Store. All of our analytics tools are here in the IBM Cloud catalog. We've got tons of databases, but we also have some Internet of Things and security. And so we're going to jump. So it's microservices that you need to wire together. That's sort of what cloud native is about. But there's some patterns to it, Derek, that really make it easy to put together. And they kind of go together. You want Cloud Foundry to manage your Node server plus Node-RED plus an Internet of Things and some Cloud Object Storage and a Watson IoT instance, right? That's a pretty common pattern that most projects would need. Heck, we did it for you, right? So we kind of put it together in a starter kit, right? Why make it hard? Yes, you can go and create every one of those microservices and with API keys, string them together. Nice thing about Cloud Foundry is you can bind them sort of under the covers. There's all command line CLIs to this, but we can just do it from the IBM Cloud catalog. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go into the starter kits. And this is so awesome because if you need an example, we probably have got you 75% of the way there. Java, a bunch of different Java instances, mobile, Node, microservice, with Express.js. Maybe you want to build a web app, Python, bunch of Python examples, a bunch of Swift examples, a whole set of chatbot examples, NLU and visual recognition, and Node-RED. But we're not just going to do Node-RED. We're actually going to do up top here is the Internet of Things starter kit. So let's jump there, and you'll notice that I'm going to log in, and so I'm going to there. I just got myself a new set of tokens. Cool. And so you have to give your app a name, and I thought we would call this call for code 2019. How about that? IoT.
That works.
All right. And we're going to put that, I've got a bunch of different spaces. So we're going to put that in my dev space. And we've got a whole variety of availability zones. So I'm going to just create it in Dallas. Now we've got a whole bunch of availability zones, 60 different data centers around the world. If you need to comply with GDPR or data privacy, maybe you don't want your data to leave your local country, you can go to one of our data centers and set it up so that it's local to your region.
Yeah, that's awesome.
In my case, I'm just going to use Dallas. And so here it is that just got created. And it's going to, so now what's happening in the background is a server somewhere in Dallas is now taking a set of build packs and putting together a Node.js web server. It's going to add a bunch of NPM packages for Node-RED. And it's also creating an instance of the Internet of Things platform for us. And we're going to sort of jump through both. Now, the cool thing about, so while this is running, I'm going to take you over to the dashboard, because dashboard is sort of where you manage all of your services in the IBM cloud. And so it's right from the top left hamburger. You're going to go to the dashboard. And now I have, as an IBM developer advocate, quite a few more services than you. If you just create an IBM Cloud Lite account, super fun, right? Free, don't even give us a credit card, yep. But you've got a limited amount of services and never expires, so there's no time limit. It's just the APIs are kind of capped. But I've built a whole bunch. I've built about 26 of them, and a bunch of services that kind of go wire together into them. Watson AI, which I haven't talked about yet. So all of the Watson AI services are here as well in the IBM Cloud catalog. Speech to text, text to speech, language translation, all of the emotion APIs. So maybe you want to build something with tone analyzer or natural language understanding or personality insights. Those are really cool call for code, especially about the health and well-being. So if you want to use some of those AI services in your project, really awesome too. In addition to those, we have a chatbot service. And what else did I miss here? Oh, visual recognition.
Yeah.
Awesome. I do so many. So I've got all my drones. Derek, I'm a drone guy.
Oh, yeah.
So I tied my drone to Watson Visual Recognition, trained it to look for survivors on rooftops in a flooding environment.
Wow.
Detecting rescue boats in the flood zone and directing where the rescue boat is and where the rooftop survivors are, and making sure that the rescue boat gets there in time.
You're giving out some really great ideas for call for code. Jeez.
Yeah, matter of fact, I have a tutorial on that. So if you need to build a survivors on rooftops, do something really fun with that one.
That's really cool.
All right, so that was a little digression over to the dashboard where you can manage. So here's all of our availability zones, sort of our status and maintenance page. and then you can launch into all of your apps here. And so I got a lot of them, but I'm actually building the one here. Where'd it go, Derek?
I think it was, yeah, your resources thing. I think we navigated
Yeah,
2019.
There it is.
Yep.
So it's this one, right? Call
Yep.
for code 2019.
Yep.
Go take a look, see if it's started yet.
But it's nice that it does all of this for you, as far as, instead of having to wire multiple things together, it's spinning up all of this stuff when you create it so that it's all, ready to go. Save some time, save some setup.
Yeah, you saw I gave it a name and I clicked the button.
Yep.
Right?
Very
That's
easy.
all I've done so far. But what I've got now is I've got a cloud database to store the Node-RED flows and any of my sensor data if I want to. I've got myself an IoT instance over in Watson IoT Platform. And you'll notice it's free. And in the free tier, I have 256. I have only one instance. Now, if we were to build an internet scale application that handles millions of hits, you would want to put multiple instances and failover in multiple regions, which we're really good at. We're happy to help you do that. But I'm just sending a little bit of sensor data, so I'm not going to try to create multiple zones here.
One instance will be sufficient for that, yeah.
Totally fine. Totally fine. All right, so it's up and running, and so the next thing I want to do is kind of do a little digression, because we want to go create a device and start sending some data up to the cloud, right?
Right.
All right, so let's so what I'm going to do next is, so here's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to share my phone. I have a little app called Screencast, and I'll show you that in a second here. So I just turned on Screencast. I'm going to go create myself a new tab, and so that's my phone. And so we're going to say, okay, that's great. What we really want to do is we want to go to the very center of my screen is a sensor tag. See the little sensor tag icon?
Yep.
In the middle? All right, so now let's talk about our sensor tag. I'm going to turn it on. Put a new battery in it yesterday, so hopefully it'll be good. So it's got a little tiny blinky light, tells me that it's running. And so now it's Bluetooth, low energy. I'm going to go click on that. It's now doing a scan. I actually have a few of them in my house, so we're going to just click on the first one there, the Bluetooth one. And you can see I can scroll a little bit, and I've got some accelerometer data, so I'm going to shake it, and we see that we're just getting data from Bluetooth over to my phone. All right, so that was fun. So you can kind of see it big, right? If I wanted to, I can kind of scroll up there. So we're going to be able to send the motion accelerometer data, gyroscope data, all the light sensors. We're going to send the light luminosity to the cloud. What else can we do? Load some firmware. Not so interesting. Oh, so humidity and ambient temperature. So we're gonna send that up to the cloud, and so at the very top there is this push to cloud, right? So I'm gonna try not to move my phone too much. So I'm gonna hit advanced here, and instead of using IoT Platform, we're just gonna start with Quick Start, because heck, I don't have yet really configured anything. Let's just send some data to Quick Start. And I don't want to type this stupid long number, so I'm going to give it a name, call for code. All right, let's try that.
Great.
And I'm going to hit save. All right, so hopefully if I go, see, it keeps overriding that. We got to remember that number, Derek.
Okay.
All right, here. I got to write it down. I think I wrote it down somewhere else, but I'll write it down again.
I'll jot it down just in case.
06AA05. Okay. All right. So we're just gonna. It's just the MAC address of the sensor here.
Okay.
Let's go flip the push to cloud button, and you see a little blink there. So every second now we're going to send data up to the IBM cloud. Let's go see that it's arriving, and Quick Start. So let's jump up to quick start.
While you're getting there, John, what does one of these devices cost?
Oh man, these are like 15, 20 bucks.
Okay, another low cost sensor that you can play with.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, now I got to type that number in, Derek. Did you memorize it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Right up here. 20. Yep. I think that's it.
All right, cool. All right, so it's connected. There we go. And so here's my data in the cloud. Let's go pick one that's sort of interesting. The gyroscope one, Gyroscope X. We can kind of shake it. And so we're plotting Gyroscope X. So I didn't do anything except, so now my data now I know my device is connected and sending data up to IBM Cloud. Now, truly unsecure. If you all want to go and type this number into Quick Start, Internet of Things, you could watch my sensor data too. It's a great example, not something you would put your heart pacemaker on, right?
Right.
Probably not a good idea. So you want to use security, and that's our next step. So before we go to actually secure the device, let's go over to our app. Remember, we built that app, and we're going to actually pull some data, this data from Quick Start over into Iot Platform.
I just want to note, I can't believe how quick and easy that was to just set up a sensor, read the data from it, and get it talking to the cloud. That's incredible.
Yeah, TI did a really nice job. For which TI and many others, I've got so many fun partnerships with Particle, ST Microelectronics. I've been doing some new things with Sony. Of course, the Raspberry Pi Foundation. I've got more Raspberry Pis in my house than I know what to do with. I got all sorts of stuff. Every ESP8266s. All right, so we're going to go through the Internet of Things starter questions here. Now, this is, Derek, I got this totally wrong yesterday. Forgot my password while I was talking. We're going to call it Call for Code, and we're going to give it a password. How about something I can tell everyone?
I'll memorize this too, just in case.
All right. Let's hopefully it was Call for Code. I don't know what it was. Call for Code 2019.
Okay. Memorize it. Up here. Got it.
Caps, not caps. I'll tell you later. All right. So hopefully we can remember that. So now we've notice up in the URL here, we're at Call for Code 2019 IoT mybluemix.net, and Node-RED is running on the web server there. It's Node.js app. This is where I got to type that in, Derek.
Right.
Call for Code.
We got that part.
Let's see if this works here. Oh, man. See? I told you I wasn't going to be able to do it.
But it's always the live demos, John.
Derek, seriously. Call for Code 2019. Yeah. Me.
Did you have a cap in there somewhere in the password?
I had caps all over the place.
But better secure than insecure, though, right? So
yeah. I'm convinced I should just pick really weak passwords. Damn it, Derek.
I'm baffled here, John.
I told you I can't. This had all this. Holy crap!
Well, the other thing is too that I always notice when we set these up, we don't have a confirmed password. So if you goofed it when you typed it the first time, you don't get the opportunity to fix it with the confirmed password. So
yeah, that's why I typed it twice.
Yeah.
Code 2019, right?
Yeah.
Holy crap! All right, so I failed, Derek. I totally failed the test. I told you I was going to fail the test. Man. You sure?
Bear with us, everyone. We're having fun.
Oh, yeah, no, it's fun. Call for Code. There's totally a way around it.
Mm-hmm. trying to think, do I know that off the top of my head? Worst case, you could always
Yeah.
redeploy it, I suppose, right? We could redeploy
Yeah, it
it.
is. I could go delete it right out of the
Yeah.
passphrase here.
Yeah, you might have to.
Oh man.
You could just deploy a new instance, set it up again, I guess, if we want to do that, right? Unless you know the workaround to.
Yeah, let's try. Runtime. You think so? I don't think I did. Call as a username?
Hey. So the
That was
password
great.
was right all along. Thank you,
Fun.
whoever caught that. Appreciate that.
That was good. Thanks for watching. Hey, I'm stealing my passwords even. So, because I can't remember them, you might as well. Let's get started. All right. So, Derek, the first flow, we're going to get back on track really fast.
All right.
First flow is sort of a sample. We're not going to use it, so just to get it out of the way, I'm going to delete that. And we're going to rename this tab to be called Quick Start. So because we're really just going to kind of show the Quick Start story. And so the first thing we're going to do is going to, in our palette. Oh, has anyone seen Node-RED before? So Node-RED, visual programming technique. You have a palette of nodes over on the left. You're going to select from the palette, drag it out to your, this is called a flow. And so here's a debug. So we're going to wire the two things together. On the other side, we've got information about the node, like how to get, configure it. And in this case, the debug is going to actually print out some information, sort of the printf for Node-RED. And then when we're ready, we're going to hit the deploy button. But we have to do a little.
Sorry, just to point out, yeah, Node-RED is a great low-code environment, but some people might think low code might be, low power. But this is a very powerful platform. So pretty much whatever you want to do, it's easier. And the thing that's great about it is it's great for developers that want to prototype something quickly. But what I've also found from doing hackathons, and John, probably you've seen this as well, that this is also a great tool for people that maybe aren't quite as technical, or maybe designers or even business users that want to contribute to an application or a program or an idea. And it's a little easier and a little it's more simple to comprehend, dragging the stuff over, and you can see the literal connections between these nodes and kind of understand how they work.
That's right. Yeah. So very powerful way to get started and build some pretty amazing apps. Yep. All right. So remember, we're going to use Quick Start instead of the bound services. We're going to get to the bound services as our next little journey. But let's go see that data. Hopefully, we're still sending some data. Although the device sometimes goes to sleep. So I just hit deploy, and oh, here we go. Every second, I'm getting compass, gyroscope, temperature, ambient temp, air pressure, barometric pressure there. So this is kind of interesting, but really hard, Derek. I'd have to scroll and watch each little JSON object here. Mm-hmm. We want to build a chart next, right?
Right.
But before we go build some charts, I'm going to jump over to Watson IoT Platform, and we're going to actually configure this device, okay?
Perfect.
As a secure device. All right, so let's go back to our little journey here. And not that one, not that one. There we go. And remember, we have some connections, and we created ourselves a call for code 2019 IOTF service. So let's just launch into that. Now, there's a landing page in IBM Cloud for the IoT platform, but then there's a whole UI portal for this. So we're going to jump over. We're going to hit the launch button now, and we're going to And we're going to remember this number up in the upper right corner here. That's going to be important for us. That's our org name is NQYYX8.
Got that too, John.
Yeah, I just wrote it down. But so quick little tour of IoT platform. You can create little dashboards here. We're going to create some devices. You can assign membership to others in IoT platform. We can obviously do app integration here. You can manage the access to the devices. So you could do all sorts of device management, get some usage metrics, create some real-time rules and events. That's kind of clever. We're going to talk a little bit about security and TLS. And but let's go start with devices here. And before we can add a device, we have to kind of build a device type. And I'm going to go click on add a device type. And I'm going to call this one call for code. And so we'll hit the next button and say done. So now we've got ourselves a device type just for today. I could have called it, Texas Instruments or ST Micro or Particle. And we're going to go create ourselves an actual instance of that. So in our case, let's go and name this one sensor tag 1. Sensor tag 1. And we'll say next. And we can skip over all the little introduction. Now, this is an important one here too, Derek. We need to remember this one.
Okay.
I earlier typed call for code 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yep.
Yep, that looks good.
Now, I only get one chance at this one.
All right.
It's done.
We'll remember this together, John.
Yeah, we're going to need to memorize this number. I'm going to go paste that somewhere else because we're going to come back to that maybe if we mess it up. And now before we can, so remember, I haven't done a lot yet, and this app on my phone doesn't have, I can't put a key in, but I can go down to security, and I'll make this bigger for everyone because it's sort of really small.
Yeah, that's good. Yep.
There's a set of security settings here. So we're going to edit our security policies. Now, we wanted to do TLS with token authentication. We also could do client certificates, server certificates. And so we're going to go and set that up this way. And so that our device from the app can talk. Now, if you were to build a real solution, you want to go generate keys. We've got some instructions on how to generate keys. And that way your device knows it's talking to the IBM Cloud, and the IBM Cloud knows it's talking to a trusted device. All right, so now let's go up to devices. And there's our device. We haven't sent any data yet. So let's go flip over here. Remember, let's go unlock my phone for a second. And hopefully you got that now. Wake up, buddy. Maybe I have to go screencast again.
The live demo gods are getting you today, John.
No, it's fine. This is all just click through silly things. Try again. Start broadcasting. That's my phone. There it is.
There we go.
All right. So it just took a second to resync. All right. So now we just launched the sensor tag again, but now we're going to enter into that advanced tab. Now, instead of quick start, we're going to use IoT Platform. And so in this case, we have to fill in all the details here, Derek. It's sometimes a pain here. So this is use auth token is our user ID. And our password that we typed in earlier is call for code 2019.
Yep.
And other things we need to do is we're going to change quick start here. We're going to put in that number NQYYX8. And now we have to go and build ourselves. We're actually going to use MQTT to send the data, Derek. So our phone is going to send MQTT data up to IoT Platform.
Okay, cool.
All right, so the trick here is to go D : and then our org name, which was NQYYX8, and then a colon, and our device was call for code. Or actually, our device type was call for code, and then our it was sensor tag 1, right?
Yes.
All right, so let's go check my typing, call for code. Yeah, that looks good.
That looked good.
All right, cool. All right, so I'm going to say next. And oops, here, let's go save. And let's go turn that on. Ah, man. So when I type it wrong, Derek, it crashes.
It looked right to me, but
was that?
I thought you typed everything right.
Yeah, I did something wrong. Use token off.
Oh. Good catch.
Oh, hopefully that was an easy one. Last night I had lots of typos. All right, hit save. All right, cool. Now we're going to go turn that on. Yeah, nice.
Hey,
now we're sending data. All right. So now let's jump back over to Watson IoT Platform, not Quick Start. See how we're disconnected from Quick Start now? Yeah. We want to go over to our IoT Platform here. And no, not this one. That was the old one. There's our new one here. No, not that one either.
Too many tabs. I always fall victim to that.
There is too many tabs. This is the one I'm looking for. Hey, so it's
coming through. Yeah.
So we should be getting new devices. I can go and shake it, right? And I should be getting new sensor readings. So now we see that the data is arriving in IoT Platform. We see it's connected. And so that's kind of good. You can go and check all the logs. There's our authentication log. Yeah, see where I failed over here?
It's nice that it logs it so you can at least see if something's going on or figure out what issues you're having. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, from a security perspective, it matters a lot. So now let's go fix up our Node-RED flows because we want to do some other interesting things with it, right? We've gone through our tutorial already. And now we've connected a device. Now we're going to jump over to Node-RED and start to do some other things. So let's go call this one charts. So we're going to build some charts. And so now we're going to go grab ourselves another IoT instance. But in this case, we're not going to use Quick Start anymore. We're going to use the bound service. The Bluemix IoT platform knows which one it's talking to. And we want to track sensor tag 1.
Yep.
Right.
And just a quick note for anyone watching this that Bluemix used to be what we called IBM Cloud. So if you're looking at this and wondering what Bluemix is, we're transitioning all that over to IBM Cloud. So synonymous, but we're trying to phase out all the Bluemix stuff. But in case you're wondering what that is.
Right. And so now this time we're getting that same data, but it's using secure TLS up to IBM Cloud as a registered device with a token, and we're now this is still not interesting. We're going to get to build a chart in a moment, but at least we see that data is arriving, and I can shake it, and it's coming every second. So we'll let that run in the background. Now we want to add some charts. Remember Node-RED, you've got this big palette here. There's over 2,000 nodes that you can add to the palette now, Derek. Huge. It's awesome. Yeah. It's an open source project governed by Linux Foundation and the OpenJS Foundation, the Node-RED project led by an IBMer, Nick O'Leary. He's working on Node-RED 1.0. and soon imminent release of Node-RED 1.0 beta. So
Wow.
you hear here soon first.
Awesome.
So we're on a pretty rapid path now to bringing Node-RED to 1.0 stability.
That's excellent.
We're going to add, and so if you're interested, jump up to flows.nodered.org, and here's 3,000 different nodes.
Wow. Almost anything you could ever really want to, create, really.
Oh yeah. So I remember that light bulb. I'm going to talk about the light bulb later. We're still not at the light bulb step. But yeah, so I bought this light bulb. It was like $30 somewhere at the flea market. And I said, awesome. And there's a node for it. And so we're going to actually later on, we're going to install the Node-RED contrib node lifex. And we'll get started with that. Okay?
There really is a node for everything, huh?
Totally. Actually, we're not going to use this one. We're going to use the other one. Anyway, there's another one for it. All right. So let's jump back to our Node-RED flow, which is over.
One more over.
There we go. And so we're going to go over to the manage palette. All right. So let's talk a little. So remember I'm going to flip tabs back to our service here. We created a service, and in IBM Cloud, we just go back to the dashboard and navigate that way. We created in the light tier, we get 256 memory. Right. And so we're going to try to get everything into 256, which was a little tight last night. It was I'm trying to do everything in 256 memory in the cloud. And so what I had to do, all right, a lot of tabs, is I had to go, before I can add Node-RED dashboard, I need to delete some stuff. And it actually doesn't really let me delete it here, Derek. So I need to make some space. We're going to get rid of some things here, so we can add Node-RED dashboard.
Okay.
Because we don't need all from our little demo today. We don't need need everything. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to. It's nice to use the palette manager when you can, but in this case, we're going to use the tool chain. So we're going to go turn on the tool chain here. And so I'm going to go create myself a tool chain for continuous delivery tool chain for our little app. We'll generate a key, and so we can talk to it securely.
And it's like this is all handled on the back end. It's all multiple things being set up just as a one-click thing to handle your CD stuff, right?
Yeah. So right there, that one little click, I now have a delivery pipeline. I've got a Git repository, Git issues, and I can jump in and manipulate some code now. So underneath, remember it's a Node.js web server. Well, I'll make that bigger for you. So this is basically the Node.js web server, and we're going to go manipulate package JSON because remember I said there were some packages we didn't need and we need to add. Node-RED dashboard. So we're going to put that in edit mode. You know what we're going to do is we don't need Mongo, so we're going to free up some space there. We don't need OpenWhisk, so we'll get rid of OpenWhisk. We'll leave IoT Platform, but we're going to get rid of some of these virtual devices. All right, that should be enough space here. And what we're going to do next is we're going to add 2 more packages to this. And what we need, I sort of did that over on the side here. So I need Node-RED dashboard. Make sure I got the tabs right. That's good. Because we know tabs matter.
Absolutely.
All right. So we're adding Node-RED dashboard and the light bulb control thing. And you know what? Instead of Node 6, let's upgrade ourselves to Node 8 while we're here.
Now, if someone else wants to do this, is this the best way to do this, or can you do it from the Flow editor as well, or?
So you can do it from the editor if you've got enough space. But I found last night that I was right at the cusp there where it would start to work and then it would run out of memory.
Okay.
So let's commit some changes. And so now in the background, this is a good opportunity for us to talk about continuous delivery, because I'm now over here in my delivery pipeline. I want to go take a look at this. And you can see here, my last pass was just a couple of seconds ago. And now I'm doing a restage and a redeploy of my my application.
Just picks it all up automatically from the last Git commit, right?
Yeah, so it rereads the package JSON, and so now it's grabbing some build packs. There's all Kibana behind this, and you can go look at the log files. And hopefully it's going. We know it's going.
That's pretty convenient. I mean, it's always good to set up a pipeline like that when you're working with, whether it's IoT stuff or Node-RED or whatever. Even if you're just using one of our starter kits to build like a web app or something, it's nice to have it to be able to just have it do all the things for you, make the change. You don't have to fire anything off manually. You can just let it build and deploy for you.
Yep. All right, what do we got going on here?
It's thinking.
I did some of this from the command line before last night too. They just upgraded to use new passwords. It should be running here. There it goes.
Yep. Download everything.
So it's pulling in all the new build packs. Remember, I wanted to use the new Node.js build pack. We've got build packs for Python, Flask, and for Java, Liberty, PHP, and Go, Ruby, Swift. So all the build packs come in here.
Well, we don't use them. While this is building and you're talking about languages, do you have a favorite language you like to write in? Like, what's your go-to if you're going to write something?
So I'm an embedded Linux guy for years and years. So for over 30 years ago, I was a C programmer. So it's still my go-to as a Linux kernel and embedded guy. Jeez. But today I write a lot of stuff in JavaScript in Node.js.
Okay, cool.
Just as cloud-based stuff.
Yeah, that seems to be one of the most convenient things to write in these days. So I know Swift is also getting to be big too, because you can write it, server side and on apps and stuff. So I didn't know. You do much with Swift, or still more of a JS guy?
So I'm an Android guy, so I don't really. I have my iPad for iOS, and all my kids walk around with attached to their iPhones. But I mostly am an Android Studio Java programmer.
Okay.
Android Studio.
Yeah, cool.
So when I need to write a mobile app, it's usually in Android Studio and Java.
Back in the day, I used to do just some fun hobby stuff with Android, but just with IBM, it's just like, man, we use a lot of Mac stuff, so it's just like, yeah, I'll try an iPhone, and it just I got used to it. Not quite as powerful as my Androids, but it works.
Yep.
Our build went through.
Yeah, it's going. It's taking some time here, but we can. So obviously, when it's busted, it's restarting. It's we could start to construct some of this while it's going. I don't know if it's going to be throwaway work. Let's see. So remember, I'm going to get a bunch of data, Derek, and I'm going to use a change node, and I want to in message dot payload. I'm not sure if it's going to let me do all this D, and we're going to use ambient temperature, ambient temp. and we're going to call that temp.
So the change node just reformats data that comes through.
Right. Yeah. So remember we got this big data structure over here of a JSON object, and we're going to go grab particular readings because we want to split it out and send it to different charts now, right? So that's what we're going to do. And so let's just start to do that. We're also going to grab the humidity. So let's see if we can go grab humidity. All right, so it did restart. Hopefully it remembered my password. Cool.
Hey, there we go.
And now we're going to go grab payload.d humidity. And I'll wire that up. And let's go, and we're also going to look at the light sensor because it's got a cool little light sensor on it.
But just for those watching, you can use one change node for multiple ones of these. But John, you probably do this way the same way I do because it's easier to look at them individually and it's a little more visual, right?
Yeah, and matter of fact, what we're going to do really next is, so remember, I'm going to hit the deploy, and I'm going to show you over here. I might have to hit refresh. Yeah, I'm going to have to hit refresh. Over in our palette now, we've got our dashboard nodes. See our dashboard? And so what we're going to do is we're going to go grab a chart node, and we're actually going to do 3 different charts. That's sort of why I had to do them separate.
Okay.
And so in the first chart, we're going to send the temperature. In the second chart, we're going to send humidity, and then we're going to have a light sensor. So we're going to go create ourselves a new group, and we're going to call these sensors. Let's just call this. We're going to call it, instead of home, we're going to call it call for code. And it's going to be a dashboard. Cool. So now we've got a group tab group called sensors, and we're going to make it a little bit bigger so that we see our little sensor data. And now we're going to add the chart. This first chart is going to be temperature. And then the second chart is going to be humidity. And it already knows to put it in that group. And in the third chart, we're going to call it light. Oops, light. And let's go deploy and see what this looks like, Derek. All right, so let's jump over. So here we have our dashboard. We've got humidity, light, and temperature. And let's just go put temperature on top. And let's go and see what we got. Oh, we're not sending any data yet because it turned off. But we have 3 charts here in a second. Let's go and turn. So I'm back to my phone, which I probably won't bother taking you all to.
No problem. So you got to get the sensor, talk to the phone, send those.
Yeah.
Data.
All I really did was flip the push to cloud.
Oh, okay.
All right. So now we're getting sensor readings every second or so, and we have. It'll smooth out in a moment. All right, so now cool. We're getting sensor. We're showing sensor readings in the IBM cloud. So notice the scale was really tiny there. I could have adjusted the scale. All right, so now that was just humidity, light, and temperature. Let's go add. We want to add another group column, and we're going to put our what do we want to do? Oh, you know what we're going to do is, I know why it's zigzagging like that, because we're also getting another, I'll show you what the problem is. We're also getting, it keeps telling us the name.
Yeah. It's hard to catch them when they're moving on you.
Yeah, it's moving on me here fast. All right, well, there's a way to filter that.
Yep.
So we're going to go in here, and we only want status.
Now, is this specific to this sensor tag, or is this?
Yeah, no, it's in their little firmware.
Okay.
I think that's probably slowed it down a bunch now. Yeah, it comes too fast.
Yeah.
For me to, that one was data. I don't even want to try by. All I'm doing is sending the name of the device every couple of seconds, every second. Yeah, let's see if that smoothed it out or not. All right. We could put another filter in, but we're going to go add a couple of more nodes here. So we need to add a change node. And this one's going to be accelerometer data. I made this really tiny for everyone.
Sorry, you should still be able to see. It's all good.
Yeah, is it all good? I
Yeah.
can fiddle with size if you need to. It's payload.d.excelx. And so now remember, we want X, Y, and Z for accelerometer all in the same sort of chart here. We're going to actually set 3 different topics. Let's just go put that in my buffer, Control C, Control V, Control V. And we're going to change this next one to Y. So we get ourselves Y. All right. And now we're going to make this one Z. Cool. Now, let's go wire them together. Now, we don't want to send them to separate charts. We want to send that all to one chart, X, Y, and Z all to one chart, because charts can do, it's a multi-plot line. So we're going to wire them all to the same one, but they have different topics. So they're going to come in with accelerometer here. And so instead of, we're actually going to do is we're going to put it in a new group. And we're going to call this new group called motion, because we're going to have accelerometer, gyroscope, and compass. All right, let's go see what that looks like.
Could you make it just slightly bigger, maybe up to 100%? Because it's at 80.
Yeah. Here, so.
There we go.
It should be coming up here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, remember I told you we were tight for memory? We're still tight for memory here. We're tight for memory. This was what was happening last night. I was trying to make space for it. All right, well, it sort of looks like this.
You got a backup. That's always good.
Yeah, of course I have a backup, Derek. When I can't spell, I have a backup. So here you can see I did the same thing. We're sort of building the same. Here's X, Y, and Z, accelerometer, gyroscope, and compass. And now, of course, I'm not getting data over here yet. But I had a new set of charts, right? A new set of charts, which we'll go and set up our stuff here. If this has come back to life. Oh, it came back to life. Okay, it's just catching up now.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it's just catching up. So now we have accelerometer data. I can. It crashed. It's just catching up. The other one didn't have all these. Didn't have as much trouble there. Maybe I was searching for.
That is, I mean, the point of it is it is working. So you're getting
Oh,
live
yeah,
data
yeah.
from that.
Pretty
So it's
cool.
pretty cool.
Right, right. Device event, sensor tag 1. All right, so now let's want to go bring the light bulb in, because we're getting about an hour. I want to light the light bulb and then wrap it up.
Sure.
All right. I think I'm a little too tight, Derek. It keeps crashing on me. Say we switch.
All right.
So what I'm going to do is so remember that light bulb? Let's go turn the light bulb on, and that's like crazy bright for you all.
Little bright, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. And I can toggle the power. I can turn it off, right, and turn it on. All right, so what's really happening here? So I'm running up an IBM cloud, and I'm sending a true on and off, and I've set myself up with a LifeX light bulb developer account. I got myself an API token, which you all can steal and blink my light in my house if you want to. If you can memorize that number. And now I'm sending data from the IBM cloud to the LifeX API down to my Wi-Fi connected light bulb. We screw it in. There's an app, you connect it to your Wi-Fi, and now I can remotely change colors on the light bulb. So I can kind of send it. That's I'm blinking green. I don't know if you can see it's green.
Hard to see the color, but definitely can see it blinking.
Yeah. Well, I also blinked it red.
Ooh, that's doing some cool stuff to your green screen.
It does. It's kind of strange, but I can blink it red. And now, so what we're going to do is we're going to wire. So when I shake the sensor tag and I get all the accelerometer data, I wanted to be able to shake the sensor tag and flash the red light.
Before you do that, John, real quick. So just for those that aren't familiar, the things John clicked on, those are inject nodes. So you can send data to somewhere just by clicking on the little blue button there to inject a particular set of data, whether it's JSON data or some other type of payload or the string, whatever it is. That's how you send that data in Node-RED.
Right. All right. I'm just setting that up now. We're going to shake our little light here, and we're going to say save. Yeah, let's go show you what I got here. Let's go get a little bit bigger. Current flow. Oh. Deploy. We're going to turn on push to cloud here. So now I'm getting accelerometer data. And when I stop, it leaves the light bulb on now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I could shake.
Wow, that's really cool. So that would be a great way. So like, like you said, earthquake, something like that going on, it can read that data and then show it visually to someone that may not be able to hear it audibly or something like that, right?
Right. Or, I've the life, I need one, like you put it on your what do they call it? The little lifeline on your necklace.
Yeah.
So if you have help, I've fallen, I can't get up.
Mm-hmm.
So you can put a sensor on something, or bridge or a person or a car. And if it's got accelerometer data or gyroscope, compass readings, you can. So in this case, it's Bluetooth to the phone, Wi-Fi to the IBM cloud, into Watson IoT platform, over to Node-RED, into my little. I extract the accelerometer data here, and then I have a threshold. If what I just did was 3 Gs or no more, it sends a command, this little flash to light, and I flash it red by calling another microservice over in another cloud someplace. And it then talks from IBM cloud to the LifeX cloud, down across the internet to my Wi-Fi, to the light bulb, blink red.
So while that sounds complicated, most of that stuff is set up just from just deploying it in IBM Cloud. Most of that's done for you is just fill in API keys and configure a couple things, right? It's not terribly complicated to do
Not
something like this.
not complicated at all. It's the power of microservices and cloud native.
That's really cool. I've not seen anyone do link a sensor to a light bulb like that. So that's a really, really cool demo you showed there, Don.
So I got my wife and kids think I'm crazy because there's a lot of blinky lights in my house.
That's pretty neat. I mean, like you said, there's a lot of potential for turning something that's something fun like that, where if you want to, there's a million use cases for it. You want to track the objects that your cat knocks over, right? You can have the light blink for that, or if you want to track something more important like earthquakes or other things. Like, I mean, it's adaptable, and that's what's cool about it, is you're able to put something fun together like this and go, oh, what? While this was a fun project and something just to learn the technology, you can see how adaptable that kind of stuff is to call for code.
Yep, that's right. So Derek, I wasn't able to watch the chat, this live stream, too much. I just jumped over. There were some Omega questions earlier.
Oh, sorry.
And let's see if I can. So the question is, can you put a camera on it? So the cool thing about both, I have got the original, the Omega 2 Plus and the Omega S Pro. Both of them have USB ports on their little dock. There's a USB port there. And if you get yourself an eyeball camera, I can't because I'm looking at it right now. Plug your Logitech or your eyeball camera in. You can capture video data, and then I've got a bunch of Derek. Have you seen my Twitter visual recognition nodes?
Oh yeah, that's really cool. I've shamelessly steal that from time to time to demo it, and it's always really good stuff to kind of show that stuff.
So you take an image and you pass it to Watson visual recognition, and you can, get back what Watson thinks it sees in the picture. So yeah, you could easily do a surveillance camera. Watson Studio allows you to train, so you can train on the mailman. My dog hates the UPS guy with the brown uniform, and the mailman with the blue uniform. He just goes crazy. But then when the guy gives him a treat, it's his best friend ever.
Right. Yeah, that's really cool. That's a pretty neat use case. I mean, like I said, I've demoed that before to kind of showcase that you've put together, and I find it to be pretty accurate too. Like, I mean, I've sent out a photo of my car before, and it'll come up and say, Watson thinks this is a floret red, sedan, and it's like, yeah, that's what I own. I have an Audi RS3 that's Catalunya red, but close enough, right? So it knows that it's a red car, 4 doors, and it has a whole confidence thing about, oh, this could be a rental car, because you don't know, it could fall in that category. It's a really cool way to kind of get information out of images.
Right. Yeah, so visual recognition is really powerful, and of course, Daniel Crook here would like us to do a water sensor, because he needs a litter box detector. So Daniel, buy me a 6-pack of beer, and we'll bring my water sensor up and a couple of Arduino boards, and you get yourself a litter box water sensor.
That'd be a fun live stream, right? I think that's an open invitation for us to come up to Daniel's house. That's what that sounds like.
Perfect. Love that. All right. So, Derek, should we wrap up with any call to actions? Maybe jump up and register for Call for Code?
Yeah, absolutely. So that was the last couple things I had here that I wanted to talk about. If you go to developer.ibm.com/call-for-code, that's where you can join the community and answer the call to join us at Call for Code. We'll drop that link in the chat for you. But take a look through this. Learn a little bit about the 2019 challenge. You can learn a little bit about what happened last year at the 2018 challenge as well. But it's definitely something we want to try to tap into the developer community to help us come up with some good technology-based solutions. around natural disaster. So please take a look again. The deadline is July 29th, so you still got plenty of time to get that all together. And one last thing that I also wanted to highlight for those of you that like going to events and like doing hackathons maybe and seeing that kind of stuff, on the Code and Response website right there, John, if you click events, there's an events calendar all the way up at the top that will show you where everything is going on. If there's something you'd like to get involved in, you can filter it out by city. Some of these are online webinars. Some of these are going to be conferences. Some will be workshops, hackathons. Definitely encourage you guys to check that out. There's the one that I know of that you might see some. You could use some of what we talked about today with IoT. Is there's a hackathon coming up this weekend in Fremont, 42 school, I think, for California wildfires. So I'll be there. We're gonna make sure that we're talking a little bit about what we can do with trying to prevent wildfires, and you can apply some of this IoT stuff to this as well. So a lot of stuff there in the events list. So take a look through there if that's something you're interested in participating in. We're always adding events, keeping it up to date to bring you guys the latest events that we have. So take a look through there. So
I tried to maybe there's not a link to it here.
Yeah, maybe that one might be somewhere else, but it is out there. Right. But yeah, all kinds of stuff. So please take a look and get involved. That's all I got, John. Do you have any final parting words?
No. Well, yes, of course. Always register for Call for Code, right? Win $200,000 with Node-RED and with IoT. The IBM Developer Advocacy Team is here to help. If you have some questions and you want some guidance, I would love to talk about IoT. I love to talk about Node-RED. Reach me at my Twitter account. It's at John Wallachy, and find me here. You can ask in the Slack channel. We've got a Call for Code Slack channel. I think there's an IoT topic there, so jump in, post in general, find me as well. Happy to help you win the big money. So, and at the same time, do something really important for reducing the impacts of natural disasters.
Absolutely. And you can find John and I, at the celebration thing and tell us, hey, we remember watching your live stream, and we'd love to hear. We'd love to meet the community. So.
I'd love to hear if we spark some fun ideas.
Well, John, thank you so much for taking the time to go through this stuff for everyone on Twitch and go through stuff with me, because this is stuff, I'm not always in the IoT space, so I learned a good bit from this. I really appreciate you taking the time to do that.
Cool. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.